Today we look at the first month in power of Germany's new Chancellor, Adolf Hitler. Later on we will be having a panel discussion of experts examining the Chancellor's policies, and we'll ask if there are any potential ramifications for Ireland with the new Chancellor.
We'll start the programme with a brief look at Hitler's background. A former house painter with a crown on his head, sitting on a question mark. That, roughly, is the present picture of Germany. On the evening of January 30th, 1933, Adolf Hitler, the newly appointed Chancellor of Germany, stood in a government building at an open window watching a torchlit parade of 25,000 Nazi troops march through the streets of Berlin. Thousands of Germans cheered as they marched by, and Hitler could be heard saying, "No power on earth will get me out of here alive." And now we have a brief film report on Adolf Hitler's formative years. The fourth of 6 children, Adolf Hitler was born in 1889 to Alois Hitler and Clara Pulse. He showed an interest in German nationalism, rejecting the authority of Austro-Hungarian regime. He was a boy who openly expressed loyalty only to Germany, despising the declining Habsburg monarchy and its rule over an ethnically variated empire. After the death of his brother in 1900, Hitler notably changed from a confident, outgoing, conscientious student to a morose, detached boy who constantly fought with his father and teachers. In early December 1907, after the death of his mother, he moved to Vienna and worked as a casual labourer and watercolour painter, and subsequently applied for admission to the Academy of Fine Arts, Vienna, but was rejected twice. Upon the outbreak of war in 1914, Hitler served as a dispatch runner on the Western Front in France and Belgium, and was decorated for his bravery by receiving the Iron Cross. Hitler's wartime experience reinforced his German patriotism, and he was shocked by Germany's capitulation in November 1918. His bitterness over the collapse of the war effort began to shape his political views, and he openly displays his dissatisfaction with the Treaty of Versailles.
After the war, Hitler entered politics, feeling, as did many ex-servicemen, a sense of betrayal at how the war had ended and the conditions imposed on Germany by the Treaty of Versailles. Joining a small grouping called the German Workers' Party, he rose quickly to become its chairman by 1921, renaming it the Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazis. In this period, Hitler seems to have become a powerful public speaker, and by 1923 he developed such a following that he and the Nazis, with the support of First World War General Ludendorff, felt emboldened to declare a new government in what has become known as the Beer Hall Putsch in Munich. Hitler and 3,000 followers marched into the streets, and conflict with the authorities resulted in 16 deaths. Arrested and tried in 1924, Hitler was sentenced to 5 years in prison after a trial which provided him with a platform to put forward his political views. As it happened, Hitler was to serve only 9 months in prison, during which he wrote his manifesto, Mein Kampf, or My Struggle, an autobiographic work in which he outlined his political ideology. On his release from prison, Hitler threw himself wholeheartedly into the political process in Germany, seemingly intent on gaining power. After the economic crisis of 1929, the Nazi Party increased its representation in the German Parliament, or Reichstag, from 14 to 107 seats. Only in 1932 did Adolf Hitler acquire German citizenship in order to stand for the presidency, a competition in which he finished second to von Hindenburg. By the end of 1932, however, the Nazi Party had grown to become the largest party in the Reichstag, leading to Hitler being asked by President von Hindenburg to become Chancellor and form a government.
And now we have Thomas reporting on the ground in Germany.
Good evening, this is Thomas Sullivan reporting from inside the Reichstag building in Berlin on the 30th of January 1933, where the NSDAP leader Adolf Hitler has just been appointed as the new Chancellor of Germany. Hitler takes over this position from Kurt Schlucker, who had a very brief period as Chancellor. After a number of failures in a short period of time, German President Paul von Hindenburg thought it would be best to appoint the 43-year-old leader of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, Adolf Hitler, as the new Chancellor for Germany, in an attempt to lead the country to a brighter and more successful future. The NSDAP are a growing party, very popular amongst German people, and received 230 of the 600 seats available within the government, which meant they were the largest party voted in. However, they did not receive the majority. Nevertheless, at noon today, Hitler has been appointed as Chancellor. Hitler seems to be a favourite amongst the German people, as only last year he himself ran for the presidency of the country, and although he did not win, he need feel no shame, as he won 30% of the people's vote, which is no small feat. We can see from this that the people of Germany have the confidence in him to lead them forward as a nation. Hitler, who is an honoured war hero, aims to unify Germany once again and lead them forward. From the atmosphere here at the Reichstag, the German people feel that he may be the one to bring Germany forward again as a nation. That's all from me here at Berlin. Back to you.
A crew were in the streets of Berlin to gauge some public reaction.
Yes, we do support our new Chancellor, of course. All of the changes that he has been making for the country have been in direct support of the people. He is the head of the People's Party, and he just wants to have us make a strong country with a unified government, and everything that he's done so far has accomplished that. I mean, last year, President Hindenburg tried to stop him from being Chancellor and was trying to push his own man into government. And even with 2 votes, he could not get the Reichstag to vote his man in. I think that they were afraid of Hitler. They thought that he was dangerous because he was working for the people and for our needs instead of the government under Hindenburg, which were just cowards and were not willing to stand up for a strong Germany and German people's rights. Just ever since the Treaty at Versailles, we have been treated so unfairly in the world, and especially with our unemployment rising to the millions each year, we just really needed someone who was going to change that and was going to work for us. They even allowed the Communist Party to have a strong hold in our government. I just could not support them, and I am so glad that Hitler fought to finally become our Chancellor, and he has unified the government under his party, the People's Party, and not the Communists, and we are just so grateful for that. They've already started building schools and roads and hospitals, and they're employing our young men to do so. So they are taking care of employment and making our country better at the same time. In fact, that's why we are here today. We are about to go sign him up for the Hitler Youth Program, although he's only just turned 10. So he'll join the young German folk first, and which will prepare him where he will learn many skills and be educated, and he will be fit and strong. And then when he turns 18, he will of course do his duty and go into the military and fight for our strong country. And the youth program that Hitler has come out with will help him do that and help him be a good German citizen. So we really do believe in Hitler's promise that he will be making Germany great again.
I'm here in Berlin University as it's been 100 days since Hitler has been announced as Chancellor of Germany. I'm here to get the opinions of students. Hi, how are you today? Mr. Hitler has been appointed Chancellor 100 days ago, so I just wanted to get the opinion of students and what you think of, has there been any changes or anything like that?
Well, to be honest, personally, I am very worried about it. I'm from a Jewish background, so there has been a lot of rumours going around about what he's going to implement on Jewish people. What I've noticed so far, being a university student, that there is a lot of Hitler youth walking around the place, or even societies dedicated to the Nazi party, and they all are walking around with kind of armbands walking around with the swastika on their arm, and I find that very kind of intimidating. They seem to be very kind of mean or even harass the students that are of Jewish religion or even homosexual, or students that are suffering from a disability. They seem to be kind of harassing or making menacing comments towards them. So as a student so far, I have kind of seen a lot of changes on campus. Even there have been some like university lecturers that have left their position to join parliament or even government to work for Hitler's party.
Okay. And as a Jewish person, have you seen any changes for your family when you come back home during the weekends or even on holidays?
Well, my father actually owns a shop in our local neighbourhood. He said recently he's been burgled a lot and his windows have been broken. Basically it's down to the fact that he is Jewish, and there's been a lot of commentary saying that Jewish people should no longer own businesses. So he is very worried at the moment that someday he's going to come back to the shop and it's going to be attacked or he's going to be hurt some way. As well as that, my brother has been bullied a lot by Hitler Youth. He is only 11 at this stage, so he's kind of at that age where a lot of his friends would have joined Hitler Youth, and as a result he's been bullied a lot. School has gotten to the point now where he actually has been taken out of school for a while.
That's very hard, sad to see. So you obviously have a negative opinion about Hitler, and you don't think the future would be bright for Germany because of that?
Well, so far anyways, it seems he's done a lot for the economy. Germany suffered a lot from World War One. We're still paying reparations to countries such as the UK and France. But at the same time, I am very worried for my own family and for my own religion, because there has, like I said before, there has been a lot of rumours going around saying that he is going to bring harsh punishments towards people who are of Jewish religion. I've even noticed so far a lot of people in our neighbourhood have left the neighbourhood or even left the country. A lot of them have left to France or to Switzerland for religious amnesty, basically.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and good afternoon. I'll see you.
Thank you.
We now hand you over to Zach for a panel discussion on the new Chancellor's first month in office.
Here we invite our panellists, James representing the Irish Blue Shirts and Helena representing the Irish Communist Party, to discuss the issue of Hitler's appointment as Chancellor. We also invite David, an economist, to discuss the social and financial angle in relation to Ireland. How would you sum up the successes and failures of Hitler's first month in office?
So I think the first thing you have to look at is the fact that Hitler's only been in power for 1 month, but already you can see that he's brought a lot more stability to Germany than what was there before towards the end of the Weimar Republic. In terms of the economy, things have already improved massively than as it was in the 1930s, and the country is a lot more together as a whole than it was under the Weimar Republic. He's also introduced a lot more hard-hitting police in terms of the SS and the SA that managed to really bring down crime rates in Germany and stop a lot of the riots and protests that we saw beforehand. He's also managed to stop or stem the spread of communism from the east into Germany, which I think is massively important in terms of all of Europe as a whole, not just Germany. He's also managed to continue to build on the success in the Weimar Republic. If we know that reparations were taken out in 1932 and under Hitler, it doesn't look like these are going to come back, which are huge for Germany as well. And as well as that, he's managed to continue to build on the successes of the Weimar Republic without falling into the failures that brought.
Being quite honest, I don't think I can actually share his praise. I think in the past month we have seen so far only one big failure, which is the end to democracy. I think we just witnessed the imposing of Nazism over democracy, and Mr. Hitler is the leader of two very dangerous paramilitary groups, the SS and the SA, and I do think it's quite worrying that those organisations call themselves his coming to office as a seizure of power. And that they use a lot of quite violent terminology like that. And not even 1 month in office, and you already see that the Chancellor uses tragic events like the Reichstag's fire to attack and persecute his only determined opposition, which would be the KPD, the Communist Party in Germany. And that clearly looks to me like an attack on democratic values.
Do you believe that Hitler's appointment could be positive for Ireland and potentially help us gain further independence from Britain by creating links to business and trade?
I think Hitler's appointment could be very good for Ireland. As we're only a very young state, only 12 years old, we're going to need big countries to help us grow financially. And as we know already, Germany being an ally for us in the past. And Hitler has Irish relations. He's a sister-in-law in Dublin, and he also has a hatred of England, which stemmed from the 1919 Treaty of Versailles. And I think Germany would be more than willing to trade and do business with us.
James and Helena, do you agree or disagree that Germany will aid social and economic development in Ireland?
Throughout his campaign, Hitler has made it very clear that his main concern for Germany is the dismemberment of the Treaty of Versailles, and in particular the restoration of German territory in the east. He has also repeatedly mentioned the harsh conditions of the Treaty of Versailles and blamed this as a reason for Germany's weak economy. So I doubt that Mr. Hitler will feel inclined to consider any other country's needs or wishes besides Germany's, and that his foreign and fair policies and his economic policies are going to follow very much the idea of Germany first. And I do not think that a marginalised country like Ireland, which is a very new state as well, will be of any great importance in Hitler's future plans for Germany.
I would have to agree with Helena on that point. I think the main way that Ireland is going to get economic help from Germany under this regime is via example. So for example, in 1932, Hitler agreed a preliminary agreement with the Catholic Church in Germany for an economic plan if he came to power that would involve unemployed people getting jobs and better business conditions, which won't exist under a communist regime, for example. And that's something that Ireland could definitely implement, considering the power of the Catholic Church in this country. A definitely good example. Another one is how Hitler planned to take back, for example, the Rhineland and sections of the other parts of territory that they lost during World War I. I think Ireland could possibly look at this an example of ways of potentially taking back Ulster and moving forward, not just as a free state, but hopefully as a republic.
Do you believe that Hitler is purposely hunting communists?
Yeah, I would say that hunt is much too strong of a word for how Hitler is dealing with the communists in Germany. However, you do have to look at the reality of the situation. Very recently there was the Reichstag fire, in which a Dutchman was arrested in the building, admitted that he had set fire to the building and claimed that he was a communist, and also that he wasn't working for any agent. Now, you have to look at that as an individual who's acting as extremist, but that's the sort of regime, the sort of person that communism promotes, I feel. We can see clear examples of the danger of communism and what that can do to an economy and to a country just by looking at Russia and the purges and Stalin's regime that's going on over there at the moment. So hunt's too strong, but I think Germany is definitely very aware of the problems, and Hitler is probably looking more to protect Germany than he is to hunt communists.
Yeah, I do think without a doubt you can talk about hunt on communism. Like the German Communist Party faced already over the past years the same anti-communist sentiment that the Communist Party in Ireland is actually facing. And I do think that a similar vein in Germany to that we have in Ireland is actually just a matter of time. And one also has to look at the direction that Mr. Hitler displayed right after the Reichstag fire. As James already mentioned, there was only one suspect arrested, and he declines any association with the Communist Party, yet immediately Hitler declared himself convinced that the fire was part of a communist conspiracy and used that as a pretext to ban hundreds of communists and their leaders, to arrest them and to censor their newspapers and their information distribution. So I think this is a really thinly veiled attempt to make anti-communist sentiments more fashionable. And Hitler has literally declared war on the communists when he said in a public speech just very recently that his fist will fall still harder and more heavily on them, meaning the take a deal. So I think we can expect a lot more severe measures there.
And finally, David, do you think that the war between the two factions at the moment is actually covering up the truly important issues for Ireland right now?
Yes, I think it does. We're in a critical stage of our development now as an independent state. What we can't do is make any enemies. Hitler's been appointed Chancellor, we have to make the most of it. What we need now is strong leadership by politicians in the government to make Hitler an ally of ours. And as I said before, I think it's a big opportunity for trade and business and help grow our economy.
We hope we have provided some insight tonight into the political landscape of German politics. Who knows what the next few years will bring. Thanks for watching and good night.
Good night.